And let's just say it's been a transformational 10 years for the Republican Party, for American politics, for Washington, D.C., for the global world order. In fact, Donald Trump's impact on American politics and society is unlike anything I've seen in my lifetime. It's greater than Obama, something I would not have conceded 3 years ago. It's greater than Clinton. It's greater even than Reagan. You probably have to go back to FDR to find an American president who so thoroughly did a couple of things. He redefined the boundaries of the presidency and the shape of the national psyche.
Okay, that was former NBC News host Chuck Todd declaring that President Trump is going to go down in history as the most consequential American president since FDR, that Trump is having a bigger impact, more than Obama, Clinton, and Reagan, on U.S. society and the world. Let's break it down with O'Leary Ventures chairman, Mr. Wonderful himself, Kevin O'Leary. Kevin, it's great to have you on. So when you heard that, he's not saying good or bad either way. He's saying he's just having an outsized impact on American society. What do you think of what you just heard from Chuck Todd?
I would agree with him. However, I really focus on the outcome. I watch the sausage being made in Washington. I only care about the policy that comes out the back end. And I'm liking what I see from deregulation point of view on energy, for example, or what's going on with this Stablecoin Act, the Genius Act. This is very important for all sectors of the economy, and to make sure that the U.S. currency becomes the global payment system worldwide, as it is already for most commodities. But it's about policy. Trump is doing something a lot of presidents don't do this quickly. He's really ramma-jamma policy through. A lot of people don't like the tariff thing, but that seems to be getting itself worked out. I'm thinking a reciprocal tariff of 10%. We end up with China. We got the TikTok thing brewing. There's just so much stuff. It's unusual for any president to put this many balls in the air and land them all safely, and he seems to be pulling it off right now.
Yeah, he's basically bringing America back to normal. So let me back up. Chuck Todd is not a fan of Trump. The left-wing media is not a fan of Trump. But what's gone underreported, and tell us if we're wrong, that the United States had derailed so far left, so to the extreme, that it was basically unrecognizable of what America looked like under, say, Ronald Reagan, under even, say, Clinton. It started to derail, I think, conceivably since 2007. It got way too far left, and many people, mainstream America, are saying, where was the America we knew? Where's the bipartisanship? Where's the common sense that could bring people together? Why is the far left so intolerant? Why is it so chastising and scolding and not seeking to reach across the aisle to get policies done? Trump is bringing it back to normal, resetting America to what it once was.
It's true that the democracy has proven over 200 years, when it gets pulled too far in either direction, it snaps back like that in the election process. And we saw that happen. Whether you have Trump derangement syndrome or you don't, you have to admit that it's self-corrected. And so, to the extent that people thought we were far too left, and many did, wham, it corrected itself. And so that's why there's so much confidence in the U.S. economy. I look at it from, as an investor. The majority of capital on earth is invested in the United States, and it's because of the check and balance system and the fact that it's transparent, it has an appellate court system, and all the things that we've enjoyed for 200 plus years. And so it works. I mean, that's it. It just works. And
yeah,
so,
it does work. And that's why Obama's wrong. That's why the far left is wrong with the talk about U.S. autocracies and oligarchies and fascism. We have a checks and balance system. We've got a judicial system, a legislative branch, and the executive branch. That's the genius of the Founding Fathers.
Yes, I would agree. And I think it's a template for many countries that look at it. There's a reason, and I've said this countless times, the number one export in America is the American dream. There's a reason. A Lebanese Irish immigrant like me built my business in Boston. This is where you do it. This is where everybody wants to do it, and that's where all the capital and the market is. And all we need the president to do is be the steward of the American dream, and I think that's all that matters. We have a little issue now in this economic war with China. That's the one I'm focusing on. I'm not loving the fact that we're not putting our technology in every adversary, because, if you think about stopping to ship chips, American chips, from any of the AI companies, all that's going to happen is Huawei is going to ship the chips. I don't like that. I don't want any of my companies in foreign countries using Chinese technology. And I think a lot of people feel that way. So I'm back to the Hill. That's what I got to do. Got to get up there and talk to lawmakers saying, what are we doing here? We cannot stop our chips being, because they're the honeybee right there. When you put the chip in and get all the programmers, you need them to be, we want to make American honey. The problem we're having with TikTok right now, it runs on Chinese honey. And that's why it's getting shut down. We don't want any more Chinese honey anywhere. We need to put the chips in. So that's the queen bee, and everybody works around the chip, and we make American honey everywhere.
Well, I love that analogy, Kevin O'Leary. You always bring it. It's good stuff, Kevin O'Leary. It's good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.